On today's episode, I talk about how I got started in metal detecting, what I've learned along the way, and why I continued to detect. I also have a special message for my daughter as she starts a new journey in her life. These are my stories from the Signal. My metal detecting journey began when my wife bought me a detector roughly 15 years ago as a birthday gift. My daughter wasn't even in school yet, and my son was just barely walking. My wife knew I love hobbies, of which I have had many over the years. She also knew I didn't really like just laying on the beach when vacationing. We actually don't go to the beach all that often, but she thought I would enjoy detecting when we did. Little did she know that it's hard to watch kids and metal detect at the same time. When my children were younger, it was difficult to get out often, but every time I did, I got hooked more and more on the hobby. I remember one of my first times detecting in a local park. I barely knew what I was doing. I'd watched a video that came along with my White's Prism 2 detector, but I found that pinpointing and recovering an item is tricky at first. I would spend what felt like 15 minutes working on a recovery to only give up. When first starting, I was optimistic I would find lots of money and perhaps some rings. I had and still do the treasure seeker viewpoint. I never thought I would be able to quit my job or pay off a house or a car with the hobby, but I thought the hobby would pay for itself. The reality is, many days when I detect and get back in my car, I see more change lying there in the cup holder than I had found while detecting. I do remember finding some of my first quarters and how exciting that was at first, and then finding a modern dollar coin, and I was jumping with excitement. Now when I find a modern quarter, I'm bummed it isn't silver. For several years I was part of the Ring Finders organization. I actually helped several people recover lost rings. I have several stories that I'll share on this channel at some point from being part of the Ring Finders. I stopped doing that due to time constraints with work and family. Perhaps one day I'll pick that up again, but that was a fun part of my detecting journey. The biggest breakthrough for me was getting a Garrett AT Gold that allows me to detect in streams. I have located my best find in streams, a 1721 Spanish 2 real, many silver coins, golds and silver rings, and the list goes on. Detecting in streams requires a slightly different skill set and tools than on land. It can be very exhausting, but is so much fun. I've recently gone to a metal detecting event in New England, the Best of Northeast. What an amazing time that was to detect for a week straight, day after day, and to find a few new bucket listers. But the best part, by and far, was meeting people with the same passion for this hobby and hearing their stories. One aspect of the hobby that I didn't know would be amazing starting out is how much you get to learn by metal detecting. You don't get to choose what you find, and in some cases you don't know what you have found and need to research and ask others for help. You get to put yourself in someone's shoes from the past when you find something they lost. You get to hold and own something that was of some value to someone years ago. You get to reveal a story that had been lost in the ground and in time, and in some cases you have to invent part of that story. As you watch detecting videos and talk to others who detect, you start to realize there are bucket listers out there other than coins. And so to my amazing, caring, kind, and beautiful daughter who has just started college, while I'm sad that you are 8 hours away, I'm so proud to watch you start this journey, and I pass on to you the following. Surround yourself with people who will encourage you to try new things. Be prepared to fail, but ready to learn and grow. Dream big, but keep your expectations grounded. Do good things for others. Be willing to adapt. Meet other people who share your passions and ask for their stories. And make new and wonderful stories of your own, worthy of sharing.